Idaho Sports Talk, Prater and the Ballgame. Been waiting all season for this interview right here. Mike Prater just completed his 4th year in the NFL with the Washington Commanders, former Boise State tight end and the pride of Nyssa, Oregon. Back on Idaho Sports Talk. Friend of the show, John Bates. And, Bates, welcome back, man. We can't wait to talk some ball with you.
God, thank you guys, man. I can't wait to talk some ball either.
Yeah, man, we got him, Prater. Bates, you just played in the NFC Championship game. I mean, what a ride that was for all of us in Boise. What was that like, just playing in an NFC title game?
Man, it's like a surreal moment, right? Like, from, at least, like, for me, like, from the time I was, like, young, like, wanted to play in the NFL, win a Super Bowl, all that stuff. And so to be in that game, in that type of atmosphere, like so close to like one of the things that you've always dreamt about, you know, doing and going to, it's a pretty surreal moment when you take a step back and really just like let it all sink in. So, man, such a grateful for that opportunity.
What kind of emotions? And we're talking to John Bates, former Boise State tight end, now with the Washington Commanders, one game short, just a few points short of the Super Bowl. Hopefully better days ahead, but when you go home at night and you realize you're that close, what kind of emotions? How hard is it to get to sleep, or maybe how proud of you are of what you guys accomplished to get to that point?
Yeah, man, like just such like a mix of emotions after a game like that. Like, obviously you're so close to winning that and going to a Super Bowl, which is like obviously the ultimate goal, I think, of everyone in the NFL is to make it to a Super Bowl and to win one. But man, like thinking back, like after the game, just how grateful and like how you just can't take anything for granted. Like my first 3 years, we didn't make it to the playoffs. You have guys who go whole NFL careers and don't make it to the playoffs or win one playoff game. And the fact that, you know, our team was able to do what we did this year and, you know, come so close to making it to that Super Bowl. It's really just like, man, makes you grateful for everything that you had and just makes you not take anything for granted, man. It's a league where it's really, really difficult to win. And, you know, I think we won 14 games this year. And so just such a hard thing to do and makes you, you know, grateful for everything that you put into it and all the sacrifice because, you know, it all pays off.
Now, John Bates, we believe in balance around here. So since we ask you about the loss, we'd be wrong not to ask you about the week before at Detroit, one of the most emotional, impressive performances of the entire NFL season. You guys go in there and just crush the Lions by a couple touchdowns. You had your longest touchdown. You had your longest catch of the entire season in that game. What was that like? I mean, that had to have been probably emotionally one of the highest of highs for you in your football career.
Man, it was really cool that moment. You know, it was crunch time. Like we were in a spot where we needed to kind of seal the game and put ourselves in a position to really, you know, control the ball for the most part that last few minutes. And funny part about the play, so it was like a play action pop pass type thing. And the play is, we called it Slim Shady.
Nice.
And
just for that game, right? Just for that game, a little Detroit love.
So that we had that play in from like the beginning of the season, but it was kind of just sitting on the back burner waiting for the perfect time to use it. And we stole it from Detroit. They ran it early in the season, and Eminem was at the game. So it was kind of like a full circle moment running that play and having it work the way that it did. And in that situation, I think it was 3rd and 5, and that wasn't at all the situation in which I thought that we would run that play. And when the play call came in, I was kind of like, oh, like I'm not expecting this one on 3rd and 5, but we got great run cell action up front. And the linebacker stepped up and was able to slip behind them and make a big play for the team. So that was probably one of the coolest moments for sure.
You made it happen, John Bates. And like my partner said, well said, that was one of the moments of the year. The Commanders going into Motown and beating the Lions, the 15-2 Detroit Lions, John Bates. And, you know, you played with good quarterbacks, but this kid's a franchise quarterback. And, you know, what's it like in the building, John, when all the guys know how special the young QB is? I mean, this guy, I think, is like a polished Lamar eventually. Tell me about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, I think if you watch him during and throughout the year, like how many winning time moments we had. I think the end of the season after our bye, we had 5 games in a row where it came down to the last seconds of the game, and in most of those, him, being the one delivering the game-winning score or whatever. But he's just like, I mean, he's just got so much poise, and like I always say, but like the moment's never too high or too low for him. He is just always at ease, always like peaceful mind, like never lets anything get to his head. Just like a real mature quarterback, especially like for being a rookie, like which you don't see. But I mean, he's just obviously a special talent to be around, an even greater person. Like you walk into the building and he's just like any other guy, any other normal person that you would, have a conversation with and be around. And so he's a special one for sure. And he's got a lot more ahead of him, but I'm really looking forward to it for him.
John Bates, 4 seasons with the Washington Commanders after a nice career at Boise State. Let's talk about this season. Let's talk about your career. Let's kind of get that spin forward. I know the catch production wasn't there, but it seems like every time we turned on a Washington Commanders television game, you were all over the place, blocking your butt off, running around all over the place, kind of a personal protector for Jaden Daniels, picking his ass up off the ground all the time. Dude, you were doing it all, and you were a busy guy. So put this season for you into context from your own words.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a super successful season from my standpoint. Obviously, the production numbers weren't there like they had been in the past, but I mean, ultimately for me, production is great and stats are great, but really you play this game to win games. And, in my case, it was doing whatever the team needed me to do in order to help us, succeed and win games. And I'll tell you what, like, personal accolades and stats are great, but when you're winning, like nothing trumps the feeling of winning games. And so, I felt like I was able to get a lot better this year. Really just keep improving on my game as a whole. Made the most of my opportunities when, I had the ball come my way. And, ultimately I made it to the playoffs for the first time, which is a hell of a deal. And, we obviously made it to the NFC Championship and had a chance there in that game to really, take it to the next step. And so this was a great year. I told a lot of people, but man, just like so much fun. Like it's the most fun I had playing football really since I was probably a kid. And like, I have lots of great memories playing football at Boise State and, times here in the NFL too, but it just like, the environment and the culture that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn have established in that place, and like the character of people and the coaches too, just giving the freedom to the players to go out there and, descend at full speed and don't worry about, necessarily making mistakes, but going 110 miles an hour and, see what happens. And so, man, just such a fun season, such a great group of guys to be around. Great environment, great culture that we got going on there now.
John Bates, where do you feel? You said you felt like you got better this year. Specifically, kind of talk us through that. Where did you get better?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to just say in every aspect, it's kind of hard to put. It's kind of hard to describe necessarily every little single thing, especially like when the production wasn't there. But I learned a lot having Zach Ertz in the room as a tight end that he is, and learning things in the pass game in terms of like releases and, creating separation versus man coverage, run game really just like, I guess a way to sum it all up is that there was such a huge emphasis on focusing on the basic fundamentals of things that when you get really good at the base fundamentals, whether it be the pass game, run blocking, pass protecting, pass catching, when you rep those things over and over and over and never get bored of them, like you just make strides and just keep getting better because as the season goes, people start practicing less and going less hard at, throughout the week. And so it's really easy for those base fundamentals to kind of fall apart, where I feel like, in Washington, that was kind of one of the things that we really stuck to throughout the entire season, was just never getting bored of the basic fundamentals, never getting bored of simple footwork drills and catching the ball and all the little things that culminate into, making great players. And I guess that's where, in a long answer, where I kind of feel like I improved was.
I love it. Sounds some Coach Riddle in there, too. John Bates going back to the old tight end room here at Boise State with us right now. And after your 4th year, you signed a 4-year contract. You are an unrestricted free agent, John Bates. How are you preparing for free agency?
Yeah. At this point, it's, for me, it's really just a waiting game and kind of seeing how things hash out in terms of all that. I'm excited. It's kind of crazy that 4 years are gone and I'm in this position now. And so, it's something new for me, something I've never experienced. So I'm trying to, have a clear head about everything and not let stress creep in or anything like that, because I know at the end of the day, like, the right thing's going to happen and the right decision's going to be made, and I'm going to be in a place where, I know I belong and where I want to be and the right fit for me and my family. And so, it's an exciting time, really, really cool opportunity for me. Not a lot of people, in that get to the NFL and make it to a second contract.
Yep.
Healthy too. So, it's just super blessed and grateful.
Knock on wood. Let's keep that sucker going. I'm assuming you've had your exit talks with the Commanders, or at least one of them, and have a pretty good idea, or maybe somewhat of an idea. Do you expect, and I don't need you to put words in their mouth, but do you think that they want you back? Do you want them back, or are you willing to go out there and shop yourself to 32 teams?
Yeah, I think they definitely, I think they want me back. And, after a season like this and just the environment, like, obviously it's a place I would, love to be too. But at the end of the day, like, it's got to be kind of, mutual agreement, mutual respect there. And, I think things are gonna hash out the way they should. So I'm excited.
Your career, you can figure it out. The numbers are out there. A great role with the Commanders. I think they always say about the dependability, the availability. I believe you've only missed one game that second season. If I remember right, you missed like a week 5, week 6 game, and I don't even remember why. But as John Bates, if you were your own agent and you're out there marketing and selling yourself, how do you sell John Bates, the NFL football player, through 4 seasons?
Yeah, I think you sell it by just saying, first of all, you have a great guy that has tremendous character and value to, like, the team and the culture of, like, the people in the building and what you're looking for in terms of player as just like a person. A guy that's going to come in and work his tail off. Doesn't matter how much money he's making or his status or whatever it is. He's going to come in and be the same consistent guy every single day. A guy that's going to do, whatever the team asks of him in order to win. And I think a guy, a tight end, that can do it all. Can run block, that can pass catch, make plays down the field, and do it with, 100% effort. A guy that's going to go out there and give it his all every single day he steps on the field and every single game he steps on the field. So I think it's pitching it as a guy that you want in your building.
We're going to be following you every step of the way, John Bates. Obviously, we're going to pay close attention. We just want whatever is going to make you the happiest in your NFL career. Let's get to college a little bit. Boise State, I'm sure you had a lot of fun following this team this season. Zach Hill, a very familiar name for you, has been hired as the quarterback coach for Maddox Madsen. He was your OC working with Brett Rippon on your offense. What do you think about that, Zach Hill coming to coach Maddox Madsen?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great hire by Boise State and the staff there. Obviously, first of all, you're bringing in a guy that has had a lot of success in the different places that he's gone, and in terms of, like, the quarterbacks that he's coached and where they've gone on from there. You're bringing in a guy that understands Boise State, understands the city, the culture, what it means to coach and play at Boise State, which I think is a really important thing too, because it is a different place. Things are done differently there than other programs, and the way of life is just different. And then also too, like, you're just bringing in a great guy, a great human being, a guy that really cares for the players, has relationships with the players, and, cares about, obviously, the city of Boise a lot and loves the city of Boise because, he's making the decision to come back to Boise. So obviously it's a place that he loves and he admires, and it's just a really exciting time there, man.
All right, John Bates, we'll get you out of here. But last time we had you on, and we need to catch up with you on life. You were living out there in the suburbs of Virginia. You had one child. I think you had one dog. What's the update with John Bates and the family situation these days?
Yeah, man. Got one daughter. Got a son on the way coming here in April.
Nice.
So we're excited about that. Things are about to get crazy, and then we got 2 dogs now. So we have a full house over here. But things are never boring, and they're going to even get more exciting now with a second child on the way. So, but life is good, man. I can't complain.
Okay. Hey, if the mayor of Nyssa, Oregon is listening right now, Prater, we got to get a statue of John Bates outside City Hall of Nyssa, Oregon. So you guys can reach into the show and help us with that. John, always appreciate catching up with you, and hopefully we can do that when you've found your new team and free agency, and we can get an update then.
Would love to do that, man. Awesome. Thank